All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rachak Kodesh. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And, Lord willing, this will be an edifying lesson. I don't really have precepts lined up, but I do have some thoughts that I wanted to get out through the Spirit. So whatever precepts come to my mind, or whatever precepts you brothers put up, Lord willing, we'll flow through the Spirit that way. Now, there were a couple of headlines. Like I said, personally, when I wake up, that's what I do. That's one of the first things I do, is I check these different sites, right? These different news article sites, RT News, Zero Hedge, Yahoo News, all these various news sites. I constantly check them to see what's the new update, or what's happening in the world. And you had this article on Elon Musk's brain charagma that he said is pending FDA approval. You also had the BioNTech come out and say that, well, first I believe Pfizer said 2 dates with Vanessa is not going to be enough to cover this new Omicron strain, right? She got a new attitude called Omicron, and you got to take her on more than 2 dates in order for her to calm down, to be pacified, right? So then BioNTech came out and said, well, as a matter of fact, we gotta create a new Vanessa, right? You gotta create a new Vanessa, which is gonna require 3 doses, And now I think it was the chief or somebody in a so-called high position in the WHO said that this new strain could I forgot how it was worded, but it could heavily impact the course of this thing, right? And you have all this going on. You have the U.S. talking about they're not going to rule out nuclear strike on Russia, and you have all of these things happening now. Apostle Tahar had mentioned concerning in his video that he did about Russia not wanting the Ukraine to join NATO. He mentioned how this thing is going to die down, and pretty much it's not gonna go to the point of nuclear war. Is not gonna start February of 2022, and reason being is that you have the Lord is playing all these sides at once, and the reason you have tensions pick up, then they calm down. Then, like, one day they're like, yo, I'm gonna rip your face off. Then the next day they're like, all right, let's talk about it. And then they sort of don't rip each other's face off, but then they get close to it again. And the Lord is having that happen because it's escalating things, but at a slow enough pace, or a steady enough pace, that by the time that these other prophecies, namely the MOTB, gets fulfilled, it can be just in time for this destruction to come, because that is the order. The destruction comes, and even in Revelation 14 it mentions that those that took the MOTB are gonna burn in that fire, and that fire is gonna come by way of that destruction. So there's no way the destruction, and when I say the destruction, I'm talking about the point where those nuclear missiles are flying, because you can have war, and war has stages, and war escalates. So just because if they declare war on Russia next week, that doesn't mean that nuclear missiles are going to fly next week. Okay? So with all that being said, seeing all these articles, the only thing you can be certain in, and it's funny, you have people which they'll say, because I remember years ago, we were telling them about all this, and I remember telling one person in particular, I was like, look, when all this happens, what are you gonna do? And they people don't like to think about the things we actually tell them, because it scares them. It's scary to them. They don't want to think about actually being in a situation where you have no food to eat, where you might have to be on the run, where there's violence in the streets. They don't want to think about that, even though they know it's a possibility. As a matter of fact, the police deputies and so on and so forth in LA are saying they're comparing LA to the Purge. Now hold on, didn't we say that? But when we said it, it's more like, yeah, y'all always say that. Well, no, they're telling you, and they are the law enforcement whose job it is to police the streets, right? So if they're telling you, yo, this joint is so wild, it's like the Purge, don't come here because we don't think we can protect you. You know, they're saying crime is going up 100% in New York. Things are getting worse and worse. All right. But as these things are happening, people don't want to think about it. So, you know, you ask somebody, well, what are you going to do? They don't want to hear, oh, no, don't ask me that. I'll deal with it when it gets there. Right? I'll deal with it when it gets there. Now, those same people are like, yo, hold up, it's here now. I don't know what to do. And they remember us telling them, yo, you got to get your shit together now. You can't wait. You can't wait till it comes. What do you mean? That's like, you're not, you know, rent is coming up on the 1st, and you saying, well, I'll wait till the 1st comes and then I'll deal with it. What you mean you're gonna wait till the 1st and then deal with it? By the 1st, you gotta pay it. So if you don't have the means to pay it, how are you gonna deal with it? But they don't think about that. Okay, cool. So as all these things are happening, you now have people in that mindset where hopes, they might have had certain hopes of maybe this thing passing or this happening or this happening. But each day and each month that goes on, those hopes get wiped away by more calamities. So now there's nothing that they can be certain in. And the only thing we can be certain in is prophecy, because that's the only thing, like that's the one thing we know is actually taking place. It's actually happening. So with Elon Musk coming out with a brain implant, and you already got people in Sweden recently came on, they says they're putting their V passes inside their Karagmas. Do you mean to tell me that what the vision that the Apostle John saw is still false? You know, it's no, you guys are making it up. You guys, well, explain what's going on in the world then. So this is the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 6, and I'm going to start at verse 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? And you know what? Barakatha Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, that he's blessed us with the understanding of prophecy. So we know what's going on, and Lord willing, we will be delivered from all the calamities to come. But we move through the Spirit. So whatever happens, the Lord directs us through the Spirit. He might tell you, yo, go here or don't go here, or do this or don't do this, and or yeah, do this or don't do this, or avoid this, and then it'll turn out that, oh, something happens at the place that the Lord told you to avoid. And that's going to be the way in which the elect are going to be guided. It tells you in 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter, right around the last few verses, that the Most High is your guide. So we're going to be guided. And when you have a guide, that's somebody directing you, oh, all right, this is here, do this, go here. Oh, stop, don't move, because if you move, he's going to attack you. So one that is more experienced guides the one that is less experienced to know what to do, what not to do, how to move. So the Lord said he is going to guide us, all right, throughout these times, that we may know how to move and how to maneuver. So yeah, we're going to be here. Yeah, chaos is going to be breaking loose. And at the moment, you may not know what to do, but when the time is right, the Lord will put exactly what you need to do in your mind, all right, for you to do it, and you will make it. And what people are going to realize is that's going to be the only way, because nobody else is going to have some comfort, some understanding. They're not going to have a sense of direction. As the scriptures say, they shall walk like blind men. So they're not going to have a sense of direction on what to do, where to go, how to do it. And that's why they're going to desire to be around a man of the Lord, because the Lord is going to direct us in what to do, where to go, how to be okay. And people are going to say, well, I want to be with somebody like that, because at least whatever they say, I'll follow it and we can be good. And as you can see, the naysayers are running out of steam, because you can't naysay something that's happening before your eyes. So this is continuing in 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times, the separation of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? So what is going to be the end of this age and the beginning of the next age, which is going to be the age, the forever age of the kingdom of heaven? What's going to be that? It's going to be the destruction. It's going to be Esau being in power. It's going to be the son of perdition, right? The son of perdition destroying his own kingdom, thinking he's going to build it back again, not realizing that his destruction of his own kingdom, that's it. And it says, or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau, for Esau is the end of the world, meaning of this age, that kingdom, because Esau, through his nuclear war, through his nuclear technology, he's going to destroy, he's going to do a lot of damage, all right? And in ushering in those final prophecies is going to be the ending of this kingdom. But that's perfect, because people think when they hear the end of the world, they're thinking of just like one day the everything just, and then that's it, quiet. There's nothing else in existence. No, the word world there is a eon or an age. All right. So let's see. Shalom, shalom to all you tuning in. This is a GMS Spiritual Temple 2. Brothers out here in Houston have a testimony of the Lord guiding us a few drinks at the spot, and the Lord had them leave not too long after. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Yep. And that's beautiful. Call Haloya, how about Shemiel Shai, for delivering those brothers, from that. And now the thing is, there's no way that you could have foreseen that happening. But you can only rest assured in the fact that the Lord saw it coming. Really, the Lord set it up, and that's why he had brothers leave, early before the judgment came. Because ultimately, if the Lord said, look, ain't no judgment, ain't no harm, ain't no evil gonna touch you, brothers, then you're good, And regardless of how close the call could have been, you don't have to worry about what if we had stayed there a little longer. You would have never stayed there a little longer, because the Lord said, you're not gonna partake of this judgment, So, hey, that's a beautiful testimony, because you have close calls, right? You have close calls, and sometimes your heart beats. And when people have close calls, they get traumatized, because they feel like somebody almost gets in an accident, but they don't get in an accident, and they get traumatized, and they don't want to drive anymore, because they're afraid. They're like, oh my gosh, if it almost happened this time, what if next time it actually happens? But they fail to look at it in the spiritual sense that, look, why do you think it didn't happen this time? The reason it didn't happen this time was the Most High showing you, right, if you're serving him, that, look, no matter what happens, I got you. Unless I say some shit is going to touch you, it's not going to touch you. Here's an example. So you don't have to worry about there being a next time. Because if the Most High could deliver you from this close call, there isn't going to be a next time where you actually get hit. Because the Most High said, look, I got your back. Why would I protect you from this? And then next time just T-bone your ass. Unless I'm giving you a warning. But the Most High, as we read in the scriptures, he got his angels all around about us. See, so and you're going to have a lot of situations like that, like with the testimony the brother just put. You're going to have a lot more situations like that, especially going into the time of Jacob's trouble. All right, where you're going to have like, yo, we were going, we didn't even know where to go, and the Spirit just said, yo, make a left, and just hide by that car right there. And yo, right when we got there was like 5 freaking military trucks that just ran by, and they just started shooting everything up. Or some random pickup truck just drove by, just shooting everybody in sight. And literally, like, if we were standing for like one more second, or if we hesitated for like half a second more, we would have been got. You're going to have those kinds of calls, those close calls, but yet you're still going to be delivered, because the Lord is going to set it up that way. And people are going to, just like the purge. And people are going to be so afraid, because they're going to say, yo, how did you know to make a left? Hey, well, it was the Lord. And if you don't have the Lord to keep on directing you, you're not going to make it. See, that's the times we're in right now. And right now, you know who's winning? Prophecy is winning. And you know what? We on Team Prophecy. So by default, if we be of the elect, we're winning. Because we're the only, look, man, things are going good or things are going on the side of the elect. Because there's nothing else that anybody hopes for or wants that's going to happen. Only prophecy is going to happen. So if you are with prophecy, then you're good. All right, you made the right bet. So, 2nd Ezra 6 and 9, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. All right, and there's your key right there. So Esau's last rulership, his last hoorah is right now, and that's why he's moving the way he's moving. Never has he moved with such viciousness and ferocity that he is moving with now. Meaning that these devils are ready to go all out right now. This is their time. That's why they're not stopping. The New Zealand, I think that's who it was. It was the New Zealand Prime Minister or whatnot, the woman. And she officially, she said it. She said, look, this Vanessa campaign, this Vanessa's program is not, it doesn't have an end point. There is no end point for, and we kept telling you, they ain't gonna stop it until they get what they want. They're not, if you on a train that's taking you to your destination, and that's the only way to get there, why would you get off that train? So they like, of all the things we could have done, this is working best for us. So why let a good crisis go to waste? We're not. So they're going to ride this and jumpstart it whenever they need to and amplify it whenever they need to and keep riding it until they get to ultimately where they want when they bring out that charagma. And we're not going to stop talking about it because we're so close, man. Very, very, very soon. And I'm going to keep saying it. Very, very, very soon. You're going to wake up and see it. Whether a brother posts an article on it or we doing videos on it or it just comes out on the news or whatever it is. And it's not going to be on some like just what's going on in Sweden. It's going to be a new push. A new push. However they present it. However they present it. Whether it's a post-calamity, meaning something happens and then this is the solution they bring out, or whether they just bring it out through this current situation that they got going on. One way or another, they will bring it out. You will hear about it somewhere, and it'll catch fire, and it'll keep spreading. But that charagma, that fulfillment of Revelation 13 and 16 and 17 is very close. It's very close. That's the next step, and it's coming. So the next precept I had here was the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 14, because remember, back to the title, the only thing that's certain, and ultimately that's prophecy. The only thing from now forward, we're certain that the MOTB is going to come out. We're certain that you're going to have famines and pestilence and chaos and division and racial tensions. We're certain that at the end of all of this, you're going to have a third world war. And when you look around, that's what all the signs are pointing towards. And what's going to come of that third world war? Yahushua's return. And what's going to come with Yahushua's return? The deliverance of the elect and the institution of the kingdom of heaven. So if one happens, the next is going to happen. And if the next happens, then whatever's coming after that is going to happen. That is how prophecy is fulfilled. And we are in the time of the fulfillment of prophecy. All right, so we're bold in the Lord because he's showing us by his signs the things that he promised to happen. All right, and as Paul said in the book of Hebrews, that the Most High cannot lie. So we have his promise is immutable because he said, look, this is what I'm going to do. And number two, he cannot lie. So if he cannot lie, that means that whatever he said cannot be false. It cannot be changed. So once and that's why he said his word doesn't come back to him void. So this is 2nd Ezra chapter 14, verse 19. Actually, you know what? I'm going to start at 2nd Ezra 14, verse 13. It says, now therefore set thine house in order and reprove thy people. Comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption. Let go from thee mortal thoughts. And that's what we have to do now. We have to let go mortal thoughts. the carnal way of thinking, the way of being able to still maneuver in this world, we're at the point where you can't really do that now. You have to separate. You have to separate yourself, and it starts up here. Arise ye and depart. Well, now you ain't got no option but to fully arise and depart. Because there are no more loopholes. You know, the Lord might provide you a means here and there, but it's getting harder and harder. All right? And the Lord is doing that to let you know that, look, you need to have that big faith. You need to have your faith on the exercise on a whole nother level. It says, let go from thee mortal thoughts, because mortal thoughts lead to death. Cast away the burdens of men, put off now the weak nature. You know, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? And you know, all these things. Well, what did the Lord tell us? Did he not say, don't worry about what you're gonna drink or what you're gonna eat or what you're gonna wear? Isn't that not written in the book of Matthew? I believe the 6th chapter. And he said, just seek ye the kingdom of heaven first, because the Heavenly Father knows that you need these things. So the Lord, in Isaiah 65, the Lord said we're gonna eat and drink and rejoice, right? And then in the book of Matthew, Yahushua said the Lord knows all these things. Look, the scriptures tell you that Yahushua came in the likeness of sinful flesh, that he may be tempted in the flesh, that he may have that experience of knowing what it's fully like to be in the flesh and go through those temptations and yet overcome it, so that when we are tempted, the Lord understands exactly what we're going through, and he can help us out that much more, because he knows what we're going through, because he went through it and he succeeded when he went through it. All right. All right, I'm gonna get that real quick. Real briefly, this is the book of Hebrews, and that's a good book, you know, definitely a good book. Hebrews chapter 2, verse 17, or verse 16. It says, for verily he took not on him the nature of angels, but he took on him the seed of Abraham. So he came in the form of a man from the line or the lineage of Abraham. All right. It says here, wherefore in all things it behooved him to be made like unto his brethren, that he might be a merciful and faithful high priest in things pertaining to God, to make reconciliation for the sins of the people. For in that he himself hath suffered being tempted, he is able to succor, right, them that are tempted. So he can comfort us, because he himself was tempted in the flesh. So he knows what temptation in the flesh is like. So Yahushua knows exactly how you feel. Trust and believe. He ain't just in the heavens like, oh yeah, now you pray unto me. And no, he knows exactly how you feel, exactly what you're going through. All right. So he can help us exactly. That's one of the reasons also why he came in the flesh and suffered those things. All right. To be that example. So continuing back in 2nd Ezra chapter 14, verse 15, it says, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. And that's what we're doing. But as the Lord is parting asunder these times, if you're still trying to hang on to the things of this world, you're not hasting to flee from these times. The Lord is separating us from this world, because he's getting ready to completely destroy this world. Verse 16, for yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. For look how much the world shall be weaker through age. For so much the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein. Because the world is in a much more wicked state now than it's ever been. Verse 18, for the truth is fled far away, and leasing is hard at hand. For now hasteth the vision to come which thou hast seen. And meaning, it's when you make haste, you're moving with speed. So these prophecies and these visions are coming with speed. All right, they're picking up the pace to come to pass. That's why the Lord said the days are being shortened. Verse 19, Then answered I before thee and said, Behold, Lord, I will go as thou hast commanded me, and reprove the people which are present. But they that shall be born afterward, who shall admonish them? Thus the world is set in darkness, and they that dwell therein are without light. For thy law is burnt, therefore no man knoweth the things that are done of thee, or of the works that shall be begin. Yeah, because when the temple got destroyed, they burned everything. All right, when the Babylonians sacked the temple and sieged Jerusalem with the help of the Edomites, they burned it. They burned the temple. They burned the scroll, all of that. So as Ezra, and that's why the Lord put the spirit on Ezra to write, to put it in his heart to remember and to speak all the things that had happened from the beginning, and had those men write it down, that we may still have something. Verse 22, for if I have found grace before thee, send the Holy Spirit into me, and I shall write all that hath been done in the world since the beginning, which were written in thy law, check it, that men may find thy path, and that they which live, or they which will live in the latter days may live. So how are we living in the latter days? By or according to the word that is written, Romans 15:4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning. All right, that we through comfort and patience, or patience, may have comfort in the scriptures, roughly paraphrasing. See, so we have these things that we may live. And how are we living? By following the ways of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And as the Lord said, he comes in the volume of the book, it was written of him. And in the book are the ways to salvation. And in the book are the ways to being certain. Isaiah 33:6, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. And we're going to be stable because we're going to be certain in the things that are happening. All right, so I'm going to actually end it off here in the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16, because I quoted this earlier. And let's start with 74. Actually, 73. 2nd Ezra 16:7-3, it says, Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire. Hear, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand. And we see that. It says, but I will deliver you from the same. See, the Lord says he's going to deliver us from these days of trouble. It says, be ye not afraid, neither doubt. So don't start having those doubtful thoughts. Damn, I lost my job. Damn, I don't have, damn, I'm running out of money, and they're coming out with these new mandates, and they're already taking people to camps in Australia, and what if they do it here, and what are they gonna do? The Lord said, he's commanding us. Joshua 1:9. Okay? Don't be afraid. The Lord has commanded us not to be afraid. That's a commandment. You don't have you don't got an option here. You don't got a choice. You can't choose to be afraid. You can't choose to doubt. You don't have a choice. You've been commanded to have faith. You better obey that commandment. If you, unless you want to die, you better obey the commandment of faith. I'll put it like that. And I'm not saying it's an easy thing, but it ain't about it being easy. It's about it getting done. So you got to get it done. That's the only way. There are no alternatives. There's no more sneaking by. There's no more just getting by. You need to now, not just now, but you need to obey that commandment of faith. You don't have any other options. And the Lord is going to keep making things tighter and tighter and tighter, and force you to either have faith or to be destroyed. That's it. So to stop, don't look for a carnal means of getting out of this. The only way of getting out of it is through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. It says, be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for the Most High is your guide. And what better guide to have than Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, the creator of it all? It says, and the guide of them who keep my commandments and precepts, saith the Lord. Let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquities lift themselves up. See? So that's our commandment. We've been commanded to have faith, and we're now at the point where the Lord is like, look, you got to now put these things into effect, man. The world ain't going to go back in reverse. Prophecy is not going to go back in reverse. And things are going to get harder. So you got to keep stepping it up. You got to start kicking into that next gear. Because if you are losing your mind, we keep saying, if you are losing your mind now, The Karagma hasn't come out yet on a full scale. And when it does, the things around the other factors are going to be more draconian than they are now. Okay? So you got to be prepared, man. You got to be prepared. And when we say prepared, we mean through faith. It's not easy, but you got to do it. So with that, I'm going to end it here. Lord willing, you were edified. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakak Wadash. Until next time, Shalom.